The unearthed door. The afternoon sun burned over the ruins of Pompeii, casting long shadows across the crumbled stone streets. Dust floated in the air as archaeologists brushed away layers of ancient ash and debris. Regio IX, one of the newest excavation zones, was quiet, almost too quiet. But something unusual had been found that morning. Dr. Marla Keene stood at the edge of a strange pit. She was a young, curious scientist, always chasing stories buried in time. Her brown eyes stared at a stone slab that didn't match the rest of the ruins. It was smooth, like polished metal, but covered in thick layers of hardened ash. It looked like a door, but it didn't belong in ancient Rome. "Is this Roman?" asked Liam, her assistant, brushing dirt from the edge. "No," Marla said, touching it carefully. This is something else." The team worked fast. Cameras were set up. Tools buzzed. A metallic clicking sound echoed when one worker accidentally tapped a corner with a chisel. Everyone froze. That wasn't the sound of stone. It was the sound of steel. Dr. Marla knelt beside the door, her fingers tracing odd carvings, curved lines and tiny dots that looked almost like writing. But no one could read it. "This isn't Latin," she whispered. "I don't think this is even human." The sun dipped lower. The team set up floodlights, casting a cold white glow across the pit. The door had no handles, no hinges, just a center groove that looked like it could slide open, but it didn't move. "We can try a controlled charge," said one of the engineers, "just to loosen it." Marla hesitated. "Fine. Small charge. No damage to what's inside." The team backed up. The tiny charge was set. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Dust exploded into the air. When it cleared, the groove in the middle of the door had split open by 2 inches. A soft hum began. Low, almost too low to hear, like something was waking up. "What the hell was that?" Liam whispered. The door groaned. The center slid sideways, slowly with a deep grinding sound. Cold air rushed out, unnaturally cold. Everyone shivered. The smell that followed was even stranger. Not death, not rot, but something metallic and clean. Behind the door was a tunnel. The walls were made of the same smooth, shiny material. Lights, tiny blue orbs, lit up as they stepped in. No one touched anything. Everyone just stared. "This isn't Roman," Marla repeated. They walked in carefully, their boots echoing, on the floor. The tunnel ended in a large circular room. Inside were stone platforms, and on each one was a body, human-shaped, but too perfect. Marla's breath caught in her throat. There were 6 figures. They were covered in silver cloaks, and their skin, it was untouched, not burned, not aged. It looked like they had just laid down to sleep. "There's no way," Liam whispered. "These people should be ash." One of the bodies was a young girl. Her skin shimmered under the lights. She had long white hair and strange marks on her, cheeks like stars, and around her neck hung a glowing pendant. "That's not jewelry," Marla said, her heart pounding. "That's technology." Suddenly the pendant blinked. Everyone froze. Then the girl moved, just a twitch, her finger. Her eyes opened slowly. They glowed faintly blue. She looked at Marla. No fear, no panic, just confusion. She tried to speak, but her voice cracked like dry wind. And then she fainted again. The room filled with panic. Was she alive this whole time? Someone shouted. "No," another said. "That's impossible." Marla knelt beside her, checking her pulse. It was weak, but it was there. Real. Alive. They wrapped her in thermal blankets and rushed her to the surface. Marla's mind raced. Who was this girl? Why hadn't she aged? Why was she still alive when thousands had died in fire and ash? The answer was buried, just like that door. But one thing was certain. Pompeii was hiding more than just Roman ruins. It was hiding a secret, buried for 2,000 years, and now it was awake. Rain began to fall lightly over the ruined city of Pompeii. The wind whispered between broken walls, as if the ghosts of the past were watching from the shadows. But inside a bright white tent near the Regio IX site, something completely un-Roman was happening. Dr. Marla Keene stood over a metal examination table. The girl, no older than 16 in appearance, lay completely still. Her white hair spread across the pillow like silk. Machines beeped softly around her. Her skin was too flawless. No scars, no wrinkles, no burn marks from Vesuvius. It was like time had ignored her completely. Marla had seen strange things during her work in archaeology. But this was beyond everything. She's not human. Is she? Liam asked quietly, holding a tablet with her scan results. Marla shook her head slowly. Her DNA is close, but it's not Earth DNA. It's like someone took human design and improved it. She looks peaceful, Liam said. She looks engineered, Marla replied. Outside the tent, a guard paced nervously. Word of the discovery had already leaked. Journalists were swarming the gates. The Italian government had sent agents, but none of them had seen what Marla had seen. 6 sleeping figures, 5 still underground. 1 here, still breathing. Suddenly the girl's eyes snapped open. They were glowing, not brightly but soft blue, like the glow of a star underwater. She didn't speak. She simply sat up, scanning the room. Marla held up her hands. Easy. You're safe. You're in Pompeii, Earth. The girl blinked slowly, then whispered a word. It wasn't English. It wasn't Latin, but it made the pendant on her neck pulse. She just activated something, Liam said, watching his tablet glitch out. The machines shorted. Lights flickered, then the pendant glowed brighter and projected a floating image. Above her chest it was a map, but not of Earth. The room went silent. Is that a star chart? Liam asked. Marla stepped forward. The image showed a planet, blue and green, just like Earth, but around it were symbols. One symbol matched the markings on the door they had opened. The girl touched the map and it zoomed in. Then she pointed to herself, and then to Marla. You want to talk? Marla asked. The girl nodded slowly. They gave her a pen and paper. She drew symbols. At first, it looked like gibberish, but then they noticed patterns. The letters looked almost like a combination of Greek and something older. Suddenly, she pointed to the door of the tent and said one word in broken English. Awake. Marla turned to Liam. She's not alone. Below the surface of Regio IX, deep in the chamber where the 6 had been found, a soft rumble echoed through the walls. The other 5 bodies began to twitch. One, a tall male figure, opened his eyes and gasped. Another sat up quickly, then immediately reached for his pendant. They didn't panic. They didn't scream. They simply activated their own symbols, each one flashing once. The sleeping ones were no longer sleeping. They had awakened. Meanwhile, in Rome, a military satellite detected a sudden surge of unknown energy in the Pompeii region. The signal was not natural. It pulsed in perfect rhythm like a beacon, and it was getting stronger. The signal spread fast, across oceans, through the sky. Something out there heard it. Something old. Back in the tent, the alien girl began to shake. Her nose bled slightly. Her breathing became shallow. She's dying, Liam shouted. No, Marla said firmly, grabbing the pendant from around the girl's neck. She's linked to the others. She needs them to survive. They're connected. Marla made a decision. We're taking her back underground. What? Liam cried. That's crazy. We opened the door, she said. Now we finish what we started. Inside the excavation site, lights flickered again as they entered the buried room. The girl's pendant began glowing violently. As she approached the 5 others, her body relaxed. And then, together, one by one, the others turned their heads toward Marla. One of them spoke clearly, perfectly. You should not have awakened us. The underground chamber was no longer quiet. It hummed. It pulsed. It felt alive. Dr. Marla Keene stood frozen as the 5 newly awakened beings turned to face her. Their skin glowed faintly under the strange blue lights in the walls. Their clothes shimmered like liquid metal. Even in silence, they seemed powerful, dangerous. The one who had spoken stepped forward. He was tall and broad-shouldered, his eyes deep gold like burning coals. He stared straight into Marla's eyes, as if reading her thoughts. "You open the door," he said again, this time slower. "Why?" Marla's voice trembled slightly. "We're archaeologists. We didn't know you were here. We thought it was just another Roman chamber." The alien turned to the others, then back to her. "This place is not Roman. This place is a tomb. A lock." Behind Marla, the alien girl, the one they'd saved, stood weakly. She stepped forward, leaning on Marla's shoulder. "They don't know," she whispered. "They're from now." The golden-eyed leader narrowed his gaze. "Then they are in more danger than they understand." Suddenly, loud footsteps echoed down the tunnel. "Freeze, hands up!" A dozen armed men in black uniforms stormed into the chamber. Government agents, special forces, guns drawn, lights blinding. The alien girl flinched. One of the guards grabbed Marla and pulled her aside. "This is a restricted zone now," the captain barked. "All non-military personnel will be removed." "They're not hostile," Marla yelled. "Put your weapons down." The captain didn't listen. That's when the golden-eyed alien raised his hand and the air itself bent. A wave of invisible force knocked the soldiers off their feet. Guns flew from their hands, lights exploded, but no one was killed. The alien lowered his hand. "We do not wish to harm," he said calmly, "but we will not be caged again." One soldier groaned on the floor, pointing up weakly. "What are you?" The alien girl answered softly. "We are not from Earth, but we died here to protect it." Marla helped the captain sit up. "You don't understand," she said. "They were buried during the eruption, not by accident. They sealed themselves in." "To stop what?" the captain asked, breathing hard. The answer came from one of the other aliens, his voice deep and cold, "To stop it from spreading." Suddenly, the walls behind them lit up with symbols. A panel slid open, revealing something hidden beneath the stone, something pulsing red and angry. A black object floated in a clear containment field. It looked like a seed, but it twitched like a living thing. It pulsed with heat. Smoke curled from it even though it wasn't burning. The aliens stepped between it and the humans. "This is what we tried to destroy," the golden-eyed one said. "This is what fell from the stars." Marla stepped forward, eyes wide. "What is it?" "A curse," the alien girl whispered. "It eats planets." Above ground, the storm clouds began to swirl unnaturally. Lightning flickered in strange patterns, circles, spirals, and pulses. Birds fled, dogs howled, the ground trembled slightly. Something had noticed the seeds awakening. Back in the chamber, alarms blared from the soldiers' comms. Satellite systems were failing. One agent showed a screen. Above Pompeii, something massive was descending through the clouds. It didn't look like a ship. It looked like a shadow. Marla turned to the aliens. "Why now? Why is it coming back?" "You disturbed the lock," the leader said. "We were the seal." The soldiers began retreating in panic. The alien girl looked at Marla and grabbed her hand. "You're not like the others," she said. "You listened." Marla nodded, eyes fierce. "Then tell me what to do." The leader stepped forward, handing Marla a small crystal. "This is memory," he said. "Our history, our weapons, our mistakes. If we fall again, you must finish what we started." The ground above cracked loudly. Dust rained down. The chamber lights dimmed. The seed pulsed once more. Faster, louder, like a heartbeat. Something ancient and evil was waking, and this time, Earth was not ready. The storm, above Pompeii turned the sky pitch black. Lightning didn't flash. It circled, swirled, as if something alive was dancing in the clouds. Tourists had fled. Journalists were blocked. Only military trucks remained around Regio IX, and deep below, something older than Earth's history had started to breathe again. Dr. Marla Keene stood in the silent chamber beneath the ruins. Her fingers tightened around the smooth crystal given to her by the alien leader. It pulsed in her hand, not warm, not cold, just aware. The seed in. The stasis field still twitched. It had begun to crack. Thin black veins spread through its shell. The field shimmered like it was struggling to contain it. The golden-eyed alien leader, who now called himself Vayak, watched the seed with sadness. "This was once a weapon," he said. "Now it is a living thing." The alien girl sat beside a smooth stone platform. Her name, they had learned, was Osira. Her voice was weak, but her mind was sharp. "It was never meant for your world," Osira whispered. "Our ancestors tried to use it, to reshape dying planets, but it turned angry, hungry." Marla looked at the strange red seed. "So you crashed here to stop it?" Vayak nodded. "We buried ourselves with it. Our bodies were the lock. Our treasure was never gold." Liam stepped forward, pointing at the artifacts stacked beside the platforms. They weren't coins or goblets. They were smooth, round devices. Some hovered when touched. One projected a moving star map. Another created a dome of shimmering light when activated. "These things," Liam whispered, "they're not treasure. They're tools." Vayak stepped closer and placed a hand on a golden disc. "This one," he said, "is a field bender. It can bend heat, sound, light, hide an entire building." Marla stared. "That's how your chamber was hidden all these years." "Yes," he replied. "And that," he pointed to a blue orb, "can bind gravity. It holds mass still, can crush tanks, or hold this volcano in place." Liam's jaw dropped. "You had this the whole time?" Vayak looked sad. "We never meant to use them. We swore an oath, to remain dead, to protect Earth. But now..." The seed pulsed violently. A sharp crack split the containment field. "It's waking up," shouted one of the human guards. Osira screamed, "Don't touch it!" Too late. One panicked soldier ran to shoot it. The bullet never hit. The seed absorbed it and pulsed again, stronger. It was feeding on fear. "Everyone out!" Marla shouted. "Now!" But the chamber doors sealed shut, automatically. One of the alien relics near the seed glowed red. A defensive system. It had trapped them inside. Marla turned to Vayak. "What do we do?" He didn't answer with words. Instead, he stepped forward, pulled a silver rod from the floor and pressed it against his chest. He transformed. His armor, hidden under his skin, emerged. Smooth plates formed over his limbs and chest. His eyes glowed with fierce blue energy. The others followed. One by one, the 5 aliens equipped their ancient war gear, armor that looked grown, not built. Osira looked at Marla. "We need you. You carry the memory crystal." "I'm not a warrior," Marla said. "You don't have to fight," Osira replied. "You have to remember. If we fail, someone must know how to stop it next time." Outside, the sky split open. A massive shadow fell over the ancient city. It wasn't a ship. It was like a black jellyfish, its body pulsing with red light, floating without sound. The storm bent around it. Birds vanished. Wind stopped. The creature had returned. It had followed the seed. Inside, the tomb, the containment field failed. The seed floated upward, alive. A horrible scream filled the room, though no one had spoken. Everyone covered their ears. It was like their souls were being screamed at. Then the seed broke into light, and a figure emerged from the glow. It wasn't solid, not quite. It looked like a being made of smoke and thorns, its face shifting every second, sometimes human, sometimes alien, sometimes unknown. Vaic shouted in a deep voice that echoed like thunder. Form the circle. The 5 armored aliens stood in a ring. Energy pulsed between them. The red creature screamed again, striking at the force field they made. Sparks flew. The humans backed up. Liam grabbed Marla's arm. We need to help. Do something. Marla looked at the memory crystal in her hand. She didn't know how, but she felt what she had to do. She raised it, and it lit up. Every relic in the chamber responded. The artifacts rose. The walls glowed. Energy wrapped around Marla like armor made of light, and the red being stopped. It turned toward her. It knew her now. She had become a threat. The light from the memory crystal wrapped around Marla like armor. It wasn't metal. It was energy, thought, memory, and code all at once. She floated inches above the chamber floor. Her heartbeat synced with the pulsing lights in the walls. The red creature, born from the seed, paused its attack. It turned toward her, its smoke-like body coiling in the air. Its ever-changing face twisted into something close to recognition. And fear. She holds the archive, it said. Its voice wasn't a sound. It was a feeling in the chest. Cold, ancient, and full of hate. Marla felt the knowledge inside her growing. Images rushed through her mind. Stars dying, planets crumbling, whole civilizations screaming as red storms devoured them. This creature, this wraith of the seed, had destroyed entire galaxies. It was never meant to be alive. Above Pompeii, the massive shadow floating in the storm sky began to move. Dozens of red tendrils uncurled from its body, each one crackling with lightning. The Earth's defense satellites blinked offline. Military drones sent to monitor the site vanished. Something was jamming global systems. Earth had never seen AI threat like this before. But someone else had. Far beyond Earth, in the black sea of space, old machines awakened. Hidden in the void for thousands of years, ancient satellites turned their long dead eyes toward Earth again. One by one, lights blinked on, and deep inside the Orion Nebula, an enormous ring-shaped station, dormant for centuries, came back online. Inside its glass heart, a figure opened its eyes. It was not human, but it remembered humanity. Back on Earth, inside the buried alien chamber, the red creature attacked again. It struck the force field created by the 5 armored aliens. Sparks flew, cracks formed. We can't hold it much longer, Vaic shouted. Marla stepped forward, lifted by the energy of the archive. I can see its weakness, she said. It's tied to the storm. If we break the link, we weaken it. How? Liam asked, ducking behind a wall. Marla turned to a silver sphere floating nearby, the gravity binder. These relics weren't just for hiding, she said. They were for war. Vaic nodded. We buried our best tools with us. We didn't want them falling into the wrong hands. Marla placed her palm on the sphere. It glowed, then changed form. Long arms folded out. It became a hovering drone. Take it, Vaic said. Guide it with thought. The wraith screamed again, this time striking one of the armored aliens. She fell to her knees, armor sparking. The circle broke. The force field dropped. The wraith rushed toward Marla, but she was ready. She reached out with the archive's light, and the relic obeyed her. The gravity binder launched a shockwave. Time slowed. The wraith froze mid-air. For 3 seconds, everyone could see its true form. Not smoke, but something sharp and full of jagged mouths. Marla fired the archive's memory beam straight into its core. The creature shrieked. A hole tore open in its body. It stumbled back, but it didn't die. Instead, it vanished in smoke and whispers and red sparks. Marla dropped to the ground, exhausted. The archive dimmed. Liam ran to her side. You okay? I just told it we're not helpless. Far across the galaxy, the ring station's commander stood tall before a glowing screen. He was alien, but his voice was calm. They used the archive, he said. Behind him, thousands of ships began powering. The station's ancient AI, in a voice that echoed like wind in a cave, replied, "Earth has awakened. The humans have joined the war." Back on Earth, in the smoldering chamber, Vayek helped Marla stand. "We bought time," he said. "But not victory," she replied. "No," he said. "Now others will come. Some to help, some to feed." Marla looked up toward the cracked ceiling, where stormlight poured in like the breath of gods. The war wasn't over. It had just begun. Across the world, people looked up and saw fear. Satellites showed it. Drones caught glimpses. Even smartphone cameras streamed it live. Above the ruined streets of Pompeii floated a giant shadow with tendrils like burning wires. It didn't roar. It didn't flash. It just hung there, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat, as if watching, waiting. And in Regio IX, deep underground, Dr. Marla Keene gripped the crystal archive like it was her last breath. Around her, the air shimmered with leftover energy. The alien wraith was gone for now, but it had left behind one terrible truth. This wasn't over. The seed had been only a signal, a flare. More were coming. Vayek, leader of the armored aliens, leaned against the wall, his breath ragged. His armor cracked. Osiris, still weak but alert, sat beside him. Her voice shook. "We sealed it once. But now, Earth is exposed." Marla stood slowly. "So what do we do?" Vayek looked at her. "We activate the final protocol." In the center of the alien tomb, a stone disk rose from the floor. It spun, clicked, and unfolded into a platform. On it, strange controls appeared. Light instead of buttons, symbols instead of switches. Osiris explained, "The protocol was meant to warn the Watchers, but Earth wasn't ready then. If we activate it now, they will see Earth as a battleground." "Will they help?" Marla asked. "Some," Osiris said. "Others may not." Marla stared at the console. "Do it anyway," she said. Above them, the black sky began to bleed red. The great shadow in the sky sent down a beam of light, straight into Mount Vesuvius. The volcano rumbled. Smoke rose again for the first time. In centuries, the wraith wasn't just attacking, it was turning Earth's ancient weapons against it. Far beneath the volcano, ancient mechanisms woke up, not human, not alien, but hybrid, left by the original builders of the tomb. A fusion of earth stone and alien light. They had planned for this. Vayek placed his hand on the control ring. All species who built this world together, all who once watched this blue planet from the stars. We call you now. The protocol activated. A signal shot into the sky, faster than light. It passed the moon. It passed Mars. It passed the old space station in orbit, which exploded the moment the signal hit it, revealing a hidden drone fleet beneath its skin. In the Nevada desert, alarms blared at a secret human base known only as Deep Dust. One general shouted, "We just got hit with a Class 10 cosmic ping that was not natural." In a steel chamber, Earth's own defense AI, Project Sentinel, flashed red. HFY code recognized. Archive user detected. Final protocol initiated. Earth's hidden arsenal unlocked itself. Thousands of dark spacecraft buried for years under oceans, deserts, and ice began rising. Some hadn't flown in centuries. Some were built using stolen alien parts, and all of them had one thing in common. They were built to fight something just like this. Back in Pompeii, the ground split open. The archive glowed in Marla's hands. Her mind filled with instructions, visions, blueprints. "They didn't leave weapons behind," she said. Vayek looked at her. "They left seeds of hope, and humans were meant to grow them." Just then, soldiers rushed into the tomb, realizing it was no longer just a dig site, but the last defense post on Earth. "What do you need, Doctor?" the captain asked. Marla turned, her voice calm and sharp. "We need to merge our tech with theirs. Start with power, then weapons, then shields." She handed the soldier a hovering orb. "This little thing can lift a mountain. Let's see what it does to an enemy." Above, the giant wraith ship began dropping spires from its body, Each spire hit the ground like a meteor, breaking open and spilling smaller creatures, twisted things made of smoke and bone. They screamed silently and ran across the land. Human forces opened fire. Nothing worked, until one weapon infused with an alien crystal fired. The enemy melted. It had begun. The first human alien. Fusion strike team launched within the hour. From beneath the ruins of Pompeii, 5 fighters lifted off, piloted by humans, powered by alien AI, guided by memory. Their target, the heart of the wraith in the sky. Inside the lead fighter, Marla, held the archive tightly. She whispered to herself, "We were never meant to win alone, but together." The engines roared. We might survive. Above the broken ruins of Pompeii, where the past had once been frozen in time, the sky now burned red. The monstrous wraith hovered in the clouds, its tendrils sinking into the earth like roots. Lightning snapped in strange colors, purple, green, black. Below it, the ancient volcano Vesuvius trembled again, ready to erupt not with lava, but something worse. And rising to meet it were the last defenders of Earth. 5 sleek human-alien hybrid fighters soared upward. Their hulls shimmered with alien metal and human firepower. Inside the lead ship sat Dr. Marla Keene, the memory crystal glowing on her chest. The archive whispered strategies, codes, even emotions from hundreds of civilizations long lost. She understood now. She wasn't just holding knowledge. She was carrying the hope of every species the wraith had devoured. "This ends today," she said, gripping the controls. On the ground, Vayak and Osira stood with Earth's soldiers. Around them, ancient relics had been reactivated. Field benders now cloaked military bases. Gravity orbs held falling buildings in place. Power amplifiers turned old tanks into glowing siege machines. But the enemy was endless. Wraith spawn, creatures of bone, shadow, and sound crawled across cities. They were fast, silent, and burned everything they touched. Vayak, wounded but still armored, pointed toward the sky. "Buy them time," he shouted. Osira, now wearing a half-human interface. Mask nodded. "If Marla succeeds, Earth will live." Above the clouds, the fighters reached the creature's core. It wasn't just a ship. It was alive. Tentacles lashed toward them, but the fighters dodged. The archive guided Marla's reflexes, showing her moments before they happened. Behind her, Liam flew second position. "This thing's massive," he shouted. "How do we even hurt it?" "We aim for its heart," Marla replied, eyes glowing faintly now. "The archive showed me where it is." They dove straight toward the glowing red sphere inside the monster. Its core lasers fired, missiles streaked, but nothing made it through. Suddenly a voice filled Marla's head. "You are not enough. You are memory. I am hunger." The wraith was speaking directly to her. "Your kind is soft. You dig in dirt. I rewrite stars." Marla gritted her teeth. "Maybe, but we fight back." She ripped a lever marked with alien symbols. The wings of her fighter separated, revealing crystal-tipped spears. Energy gathered. Human fusion power fed into alien design. She fired. The spears spun, curved, and pierced the outer shell. The wraith howled, a scream that shook the sky. On Earth, Vesuvius finally erupted, not with lava, but with black spires of wraith matter. They shot into the air like claws, but they never reached the clouds. A wave of blue energy spread from beneath Regio IX. The final protocol's last stage had begun. Dozens of old alien relics, long thought dead, activated around the planet. Hidden under pyramids, inside ancient mountains, beneath the ocean floor, they had been waiting, watching, and now they were awake. In space, near Jupiter, the Watchers arrived. Massive rings of ships emerged from dark folds in the sky, some shaped like stars, some like insects, some like temples. They had received the archive's signal. One ship, pure white and silent, approached Earth's orbit. Its pilot, a being made of glass and starlight, spoke 3 words in perfect Earth English. "We honor resistance." The watchers didn't fire. Instead, they shared. A beam of light shot toward Marla's fighter, feeding it new energy, symbols, and understanding. Inside her cockpit, Marla blinked. A new targeting system unfolded before her eyes. Maps, not just of the Wraith, but of its memories. She saw where it came from, how it was born from a failed attempt to restart a dead sun, how it mutated, consumed, and forgot what it once was. She also saw the virus that had once almost stopped it. It was inside the archive, and she had one shot to inject it. "Liam," she called, "cover me." He nodded and took lead position, firing every weapon he had. Marla locked onto the core. The Wraith shrieked, hundreds of faces appearing across its body. "No, I am the last. I am forever," she whispered. "Not anymore," and fired. The virus hit the core. There was silence. Then, light. The Wraith exploded, not in fire but in memory. Its body broke into 1 billion red fragments, each playing ancient scenes, lost worlds, alien children, broken songs. Then they faded, and the sky cleared. Below, the Wraith spawn collapsed like dust. The storm ended. Vesuvius calmed. The earth, at last, was still. 1 week later, Earth was quiet. Marla sat beside a campfire near the ruins of Pompeii. Soldiers laughed in the distance. Kids played beside armored aliens. The Watchers had left, but they'd given one final message. "You are no longer alone." The archive, now dim, sat in her lap. Liam joined her. "Think we're safe now?" Marla smiled softly. "Safe? No. But ready?" "Yes." He nodded. "We saved the world." She shook her head. "We remembered the world. That's what saved it." As the stars shined above, Pompeii's ashes finally settled. Once a city of death, now it was the birthplace of Earth's rise, and this time, humanity was not just watching the stars. It was part of them,